Good evening. It's Monday, December 29th, 2025. This is your weather enthusiast, Simcha Lefton. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. We had quite a day yesterday as a powerful Arctic cold front brought temperatures crashing across many locations in the Midwest. Some of the cities we mentioned was St. Louis, Missouri. Afternoon high temperature yesterday at Lambert International Airport. According to windy.com, high temperature 77 degrees. University City saw a high of 78 degrees, which occurred at 2:30 p.m. Dew points went into the low 60s. Summertime dew points over there. We also saw some summertime dew points, as we spoke about here in the Chicago area. Valparaiso saw dew points in the low 60s. Kankakee dew points in the low 60s. Temperatures in the lower and mid-60s for the highs in those locations. Intense stuff. We also had a tornado warning, which was in effect for portions of Indiana. That was just off to the south and east of the Chicago area. Also, the tornado watch included areas just off the east of the St. Louis area. There was a tornado watch, a few severe thunderstorm warnings, and tornado warnings that occurred yesterday afternoon. The unseasonably warm temperatures before the brutal winds came in. Porter County, wind gusts to 51 miles per hour from what I saw, even near the lake. Valparaiso is also part of Porter County. Gusts in the 50s. We had gusts in the 50s in Iowa as well. Some of the big snowfall totals occurred up in Minnesota and Michigan, as we mentioned before. We did have some reports of snowfall of 23 and 24 inches. That's the maximum that I saw, and I don't have the sheet in front of me. We mentioned from the National Weather Service there's an area that could be getting 18 to 28 inches. Well, we did have an area that got 23 to 24 inches. Some other areas, we had a widespread 14 inches. There were some locations up in Minnesota. Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities saw snowfall 5.8 to 6.8 inches, somewhere around there. That was the snow totals over there. When you go into the Dakotas, Rapid City, South Dakota, phenomenal wind speeds, but the snowfall accumulation, only 1 inch. But wind gusts, 66 miles an hour. We had a location in South Dakota which had a wind gust of 77 miles an hour. That's going to be the top wind gust from what I saw. So this was quite a powerful cold front. One of the most remarkable things that I saw was what the barometric pressure strengthened to as of this morning, 8 a.m. Barometric pressure, it's got to be a mistake, 28.38. It's got to be a mistake. Maybe it meant to say 29.38. No, but it was stronger than that because it was 29.2 already late last night. So the 28.38 would register as 28.4. That's much, much stronger than any forecasted. So either that's a mistake, maybe it should say 28.8, 28.98. Something other than 28.38. That's got to be a mistake. That's just too strong. Either way, we had very close to a bombogenesis or an actual bombogenesis that occurred. So we're now solidly in the Arctic air. I think some locations actually got more than an inch. As we spoke about, the wraparound snowfall could sometimes produce more than an inch of snow, even if a half an inch to an inch is what's being forecasted. So we have 2 weeks on for winter, 2 weeks off. That's been the pattern this year, so there's no reason for it not to continue. The last time, let's go back, let's say 25 years, when they used to speak about a La Nina year for places like in Maryland and Baltimore, they would say 3 weeks like this and 3 weeks like that. And that's what would happen in Baltimore in the winter. For example, the winter of 2000, you had a few weeks of warm temperatures, then a few weeks of very cold winter weather, followed by a few weeks of mild temperatures. That's what's been happening this winter. We've gone through other La Nina years before where that wasn't the case. So can't say one way or the other why it would be like that one year and not the other, but so far that's what the winter seems to be set up as. Most of the weather forecasts, the weather predictions that are being forecasted over the next 10 days were mentioned in Saturday night's weather episode, which on many platforms didn't get put on until after Sunday's episode. That's something to keep in mind. But nonetheless, a lot of things were mentioned there. So listen to it then. And I wish everybody a wonderful night. Have a wonderful week. And thank you for listening.